What's up, YouTube? I'm Super Dan the Shoe Man, back with another video today. This video is coming to you from the living room. Why? Because I'm in the living room. And this is just an intro to another Super Dan Eats video, so all that's already recorded, and I don't need to be in the shoe room for that. First though, before we go any further, I need to give y'all a word from our sponsor, my sponsor. I've already recorded this, we had to re-record it, and Atticus didn't know who our sponsor was. He's like, oh, it's you. No. Who's our sponsor, Atticus? Jesus. This is Philippians 4:13. A lot of you might have heard this, but my pastor at church just this past weekend at a marriage series went over this and kind of framed it a little differently, even though this is in the word also, and it specifies this. We quote Philippians 4:13 by itself, and not necessarily using it out of context, but using it in context. It's very specific, and it can be used out of context by itself and appropriately in plenty of different ways. But Philippians 4:13, for I can do everything, all things, through Christ who strengthens me. Atticus, does that mean that I can fly if Christ strengthens me? I guess it does mean that if he strengthens me for that I can fly. But that's not what it's about. It's not about flying, right? Like having the strength to fly. And really what it is specifically about, it's talking about Paul in his letter to the Philippians, to the church in Philippi. He's saying that regardless of the situation that he's in, he was in jail for preaching Jesus' message. If he's in jail, if he has all that he needs, he has every bit of everything. If his belly is full, if his belly is empty, regardless of the situation that he's in his life, regardless of the people around him, the circumstances around him, how his relationships are, how people that he is close with are treating him, whether or not his dog is a good girl. Bella is a good girl because she's so old and doesn't really do anything anymore. And see, look at that. She's just like, see her. But it doesn't matter what's going on, because Christ strengthens him to sustain him, and he just depends on that. So he can be content no matter what else is going on around him. And how that pertains to marriage and couples is that for me, it's that I shouldn't be relying on my relationship with Hesper or her and her actions to sustain me, because we are meant for God to sustain us. She was never meant for that. And if I expect that her obedience, being a good wife, that kind of thing, if I expect that should sustain me, then I'm then putting a responsibility that is God's responsibility, God's place on her, and she can't handle that. So I can do all things through Christ who strengthens me. Who strengthens me is a whole lot more just about being content, regardless of what's around us. Why are you making dumb faces? All right, let's get back to Super Dan, the Shoe Man. If y'all didn't watch the live, and I told y'all this, to win the live, you had to watch the giveaway video, the initial giveaway video, comment, be subscribed, smash the like button, all that kind of stuff. You did not have to be on the live to win it, but you did need to go back and watch it. So one of the things I do when I'm in the living room here is I watch YouTube. So there it is. That's the 2,000 sub giveaway live. It was streamed 6 days ago. So go back and watch that one. If you don't know if you won the giveaway and you entered the giveaway for the random giveaway, you need to watch the video, and then you need to get in touch with me. You need to get in touch with me by the end of the day today. It's already been live for a week. I streamed that a week ago. 7 p.m. was when it started on last Friday night. So go back and watch it. If I don't get contacted by the winner, then we're gonna have to give away, or we're gonna have to announce another winner. Really quick, let's talk about this. Let's have some shoes in this video before we get to the Brazilian steakhouse special, the Picanha, done here at home in Herman House. This was Hesper's Penny One. These released several weeks ago at Foot Locker, and these were sitting on shelves. They were sitting online. They went on sale online. The grade school sizes did, and this is hers. She likes this, and she's worn it quite a bit. This is the social status Penny One. And I was just recently watching Mike Rich's video on it, and he read this, and when he read it, I realized something. It kind of jogged my memory. When I did this, and I read this, the writing on the box says, "The quick brown fox jumped over the lazy dog." And I was like, that's got to mean something. There's something that has something to do with something. That sentence has every letter in the English language, and this is written in cursive. So it's like that's a sentence that you can memorize, and if you write it over and over again, you get practice writing every letter in cursive. So that's the significance of that specific sentence. This is the men's size Penny One Orlando. Picked this up on sneakers. I think I went 1 for 6 on sneakers, and unfortunately the one account that I don't have defaulted to the right size got me a size 9.5. So I'm a little disappointed that I don't have the right size. I might try to hold this to trade it for a size 11. I think I could probably wear 10.5 in this one also. But it is pretty much the exact same thing as the grade school. I don't really see any major differences. This one is put together a little more nicely, a little less glue mess, and the materials might be a little bit better, but they're Durabuck anyway, so they're not real leather. The Durabuck is nice, it's just not premium feeling, but this is nice. So I like the shoe. Wish I had it in my size, even though I have the social status Orlando, and this is actually the social status Orwood, but I have the Orlando upstairs that I've worn. I think I still need the OG too. So let me know what you think about these down below. Let me know what you think about Philippians 4:13 down below. Guys from my church, let me know what you think about Philippians 4:13. And let me know what you think about the Picanha. I like making the food videos. I've got a handful more on the way, so those are going to come at you anyway. But let me know what y'all think, and if you have something else you think you might like seeing me cook. I've been cooking since I was, and I said this in the live too, I've been cooking since probably about as long as I've liked shoes, which is like 6th grade. So let me know what y'all think. Thanks for being here. Tell your grandma, smash the like button. I'll see you next time. This was a whole 4-pound, I'm not sure the exact piece, what it's normally called, of the sirloin, but this is a picanha. And I've cut it up into 1, 2, 3, 4 steaks, and then this is just a larger portion. Because I'm gonna cut this in half, but I'm gonna cut it in half after I sous vide. I'm gonna sous vide that one whole, which is like, it's as much as this one and this one put together. Just to see if that makes any difference, like it holds more moisture or something, I don't know, we'll see. But I'm gonna go ahead and salt and MSG it. Now it's Saturday night at 9 p.m. These will go in the sous vide tomorrow morning, at some point. And these are supposed to be cut a little thinner for the steaks for the grill. And then you also cut these, you see the grain of the meat is running this way. The grain of this piece is running this way. You cut it with the grain as much as possible, so that when you cut your bite like this or like this, that at that point you're cutting against the grain. I've never cooked picanha yet myself, but it's got decent intramuscular fat, and obviously it's got that fat cap. That's a pretty big fat cap. I cut that off, some silver skin into the fat, like off this corner right here, and but there's still a lot left in some places. I think I'm gonna leave it on when we cook it, but maybe not eat all of it. But like that much fat cap, I'm gonna eat. Not this necessarily, maybe not that thick section, but the rest of that I would eat. So I'll get it salted, and it'll sit in the fridge, salted overnight to dry brine, and then a couple hours of sous vide in the morning. Then we'll grill it, probably on the egg. Now here are the 2 pre-cut picanha steaks that were sous vide, and this is the one large one. I'll cut that one in half, and we'll see what it looks like in the center, because it's obviously it's gray on the outside from having been cooked, and that's what was in more direct contact with the water through the bag. And these are the 2 completely raw ones that'll go on first, and probably cook about the same amount of time. They're smaller because they were from the tip corner, I guess, of the primal cut, and they were dry brined as those were, just not sous vide. They just stayed in the fridge. But we'll be able to compare if the sous vide is better than straight grilled. Like I said, I'll cut that one open into the 2 pieces. So I've cut that larger piece, split it into 2, So as you can see, the outside that has more direct contact through the bag with the 135 degree water turns brown, but we're going to crisp that up and on the egg at 600-700 degrees or so. But the center is just this perfectly cooked, maybe almost medium, but I'd say closer to medium rare, and looks beautiful. That's medium rare already. So all we're doing to those is crisping up the outside. Those will have to get cooked completely. The egg is getting ready. We'll take a look in a little bit. So my thoughts on this piece, though, were that this all dry brined with thicker pieces or thinner pieces. This was a thicker piece, so while in the sous vide it might have maintained a little bit more moisture in the very center because it was a thicker cut, the salt may not have penetrated quite so far. So I'm going to put a little bit more salt on a couple of these, and definitely on the inside of that before I cook it, but that's already dry brined and fairly thin. I don't think it needs any more, but definitely put some more salt here before I throw it on the grill. Yeah, the cast iron grill grate back out, and I'm actually going to take this corner piece from the picanha, this is mostly fat, and just wipe it over here. I already brushed this really good just to kind of get some of the dirt and stuff off of it. And I'm just getting some fat, greasing up the grill right now. Getting that steak good and nasty. Or that fat good and nasty. You see that's already really hot because it's flaring up a lot. Not a lot. It's flaring up. All right, I'm burning my hand. I gotta do this with two hands. So I put the daisy wheel on top, and even though it's as open as it can be, this hole of the daisy wheel, the main hole, is much smaller than the hole of the egg. This hangs over a little bit, so it restricts that airflow a lot and just keeps it from getting, 900 degrees or so. So I may take that off in a second. We'll see. I'm gonna cook the raw steaks first. See, I've got this wide open, but with the mesh in front of it, so that restricts airflow just a little bit, and even just that little bit actually can make a pretty big difference. So this is like a really hot, 400 and something degrees. I'm pretty sure this is pretty accurate. I don't really have a temperature or a thermometer I can go up that high with. And another one, I need to get a thermal pen, like a laser, but not today. So we're gonna see if this is too hot when I put the raw steaks on, or too cold, or not hot enough. And I may take the daisy wheel off to do the cooked ones, the sous vide ones, and we'll be back in a minute. All right, so here we have non-sous vide small pieces. These were the pieces that were sous vide individually with that size, and this is the larger piece that was sous vide together and cut in half after the sous vide added more salt to the inside. I don't know which side was which now. And then those are the trimmings that I grilled up, no salt on them, although I don't think they don't need salt, but I just didn't put any salt on those. Might try some of that, but that's mainly for the dog. So here we go. We're gonna give these a try in just a second, give them just a couple more minutes to rest and get to eating. So I'm going over this again with Hesper. This is the non-sous vide piece. It might be very rare in the middle, and you can see the fibers are going this way, the muscle fibers, the grain, so she's gonna have to cut it in the opposite direction, perpendicular, there we go. And that may be a little too rare for her. I don't know how that cooked. It's just hard to gauge with a new steak. I'm used to cooking ribeyes. I know the fat content and kind of how they cook, not so much with this. So we'll see. That's pretty good, isn't it?
Well, that's because it's in.
If anything, that's overcooked. In the video, it looks really pink, a whole lot more pink than it is. Picanha. Yeah? Like, is it better than... So the ribeye from Walmart, the third video we made, was so far the best flavor and the most tender. I wish it was thicker, but it was still like the best one.
This is a really strong meat flavor, which I like.
Right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But like a strong meat flavor that's like lamb, I don't like. Or elk, I don't.
But you do like lamb as long as it's not too strong.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, I do. One more cut off of there. You're eating the fat, even though there's not much fat on that particular piece, but you're eating it. Good, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Let's see if I can do it. There we go. Let's give this a try. All right, I'm gonna do the same thing with my raw piece that was raw. Cut it against the grain. Cuts really tender. More tender than what it looked like Hesper was cutting. Show you.
Oh, you have a better knife.
That knife's really sharp. Doesn't want to focus on that. Really good beef flavor. Really good char. The char was good today. It burned my hand. So, that's good. Let me get one more slice off of this non-sous vide piece, and then we'll get into the sous vide.
The char is strong on this one.
The char is strong with this one. All right. The inner cut piece was more tender than the one that had the crust all the way on the corner. That's really good. All right, I'm gonna go for the one that was sous vide all in one piece. This is it right here. I want to try to get, I mean, you're supposed to cut it. Look at this. I'll cut it from the center. You can feel the fat cap as I'm trying to cut it, and the fat cap is definitely a little tough. So here, you can see that's cooked perfectly. And you see right here, that was a fly. Right here is the fat. You eat it with the fat. They say if you're Brazilian, or in Brazil, if you're eating this stuff, you eat it without the fat, you get executed. Oh. Oh. This is way better. Way better than the one that was not sous vide. Like, miles better.
Better than not sous vide.
Right, this is sous vide. It was sous vide in one piece. Like this one and this one were one piece, and I cut it in half afterwards. This is, oh, ready? What'd you say? Mush push?
I hope that's cool.
It's a big piece.
I don't want this.
No, you gotta try it.
No,
Just one bite.
Brazilian.
Just one bite. You don't have to have any more with that. Sous vide better?
It's different.
For me, that's way better than the other.
Try this piece then.
Okay. Cut me some. So that actually has some fat running through the middle. Very thick. You cut it very thick. The other one's better. Sous vide's better. But also be though, one end is supposed to, like I think the center is supposed to be a little better than the sides. And that's the tip. So
No, that was the center of that.
of the whole thing. And I think this has some connective tissue running through the middle of it and would have benefited even more from the sous vide. I just didn't do that because it was small.
Yeah.
So I didn't sous vide it. So that if it wasn't as good or I overcooked it, I would have potentially wasted a big piece. All right. Hey, babe.
Oh.
So I did only sous vide this for 2 hours, as opposed to like 4 hours, up to 4 hours that I did with the ribeyes. But Hesper and I both agree that the ribeyes from Walmart that were nicely marbled, sous vide for 4 hours and cooked on the Blackstone were the best steaks we've had out of the 4 videos that we made. This is really good. It has really good flavor. I like the fat in it a lot. It charred up nice. I showed y'all I used the cast iron grill grate that I didn't use when I did the first ribeyes or the New York strips on the egg at a really high temperature. Had a lot of flare-ups. I also had a different brand, a new brand of charcoal that I had to use today, just because that's what I had. And I don't really think that had anything to do with it. It might have been able to get it hotter. It was really lump charcoal, like branches looking, not chunks. So maybe that was burning hotter, but it was at a lower temperature than when I did the first ribeyes. So it may just mean that there was more fat in this dripping off that fat cap because I did put it fat cap down first when I put the bigger pieces in. Maybe that's why it flared up. It was just difficult to cook, but you see it didn't burn and the sous vide was perfectly cooked still. Even the little tip, like I had this little tip right here that was very thin. That was even not overcooked in the center because I cooked it so quickly. Like to get that char, I only had it on there for less than a minute aside. So, but we both agree the ribeye was better than the picanha.
It's
Overall, including the flavor, so y'all can fight about it down in the comments below. Ribeye is better than picanha, right?
Yeah.
We still might do this again and maybe sous vide for 4 hours or maybe even more because this is just a little bit tougher. And the ribeye was more tender but had just as good a flavor. So this particular picanha had nothing on the second ribeye. It might have a little bit better flavor than the first ribeye, but also that ribeye was really tender. So I'm gonna finish eating. See you next time.
You're so pretty.
Say bye.
Choose. Ah! Shoes. And I like shoes.
Fire! It's so cute.